What it do? Dream Team, it's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are at 5 random things Germans and Americans do differently. From Feli from Germany. Now, before we dive into this, I need you guys to dive into that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it? Put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me, shoot me. I'll talk back. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got? Feli.
So I have my final exams tomorrow, right? And I'm so nervous. Wow, yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. For what it's worth, I'll be sure to keep my thumbs pressed for you tomorrow. Thumbs pressed? Yeah, for good luck. Wait, do you mean you'll cross your fingers for me? No, why would I do that? I mean it, I'm not lying. Huh?
I've never seen that. Cross fingers for good luck. I thought she was like thumbs up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, for good luck, you cross your fingers, but thumbs pressed. That's interesting. See, I'm intrigued to know where these things come from. Like, who was the first one to like cross your fingers for good luck? Like, where did that come? Where did thumbs pressed come from? Like, I've never seen that. That's
why would I do that? I mean it, I'm not lying. Huh? Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Feli. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I've been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, on and off since 2016. So about 2 years ago, I started a video series called Random Differences about things that Germans and Americans do differently, but that don't really seem to have a good explanation as to why those things are different. Here are the topics that I've already covered in this series, but since then I've come across many new random differences that I would love to share with you, and maybe we can even figure out together why those things are done differently in Germany and the US. So here are 5 more random things Germans and Americans do differently. The first point on my list is something that I had only ever seen on American TV shows before, specifically on the show Gossip Girl, and it's that Americans sometimes call their friends by their first initial instead of their name. So on Gossip Girl, for example, the 2 best friends, Serena and Blair, would often call each other S and B. And even the narrator of the show referred to them by their first initials. What's also common, and that's probably something that most of you have seen on American movies and shows before, is that teachers or other adults are referred to as Mr. and then the first initial of their last name, such as Mr. P. This works with women too, of course, so like Ms. or Mrs. and then their initial. There's even a whole sitcom with the title Mr. D. Now, when I first came to the US, I don't think I witnessed people doing this a lot, or at least I didn't pick up on it, but then I met Ben and he always calls his brother and some of his best friends by the first initials of their names, which got me thinking about this again because that's just not a thing in Germany. If anything, I feel like this would be considered pretty rude. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever heard a German do this, and if a friend of mine referred to me as just F, as in schönes Wochenende F, I'd probably be like, what just happened? Like, do you not have time to use my full name anymore? I'm really not sure where that comes from, that Americans sometimes choose to use someone's initials instead of just coming up with a normal nickname. I do understand why you would do it when someone is called something like Tyler Jr., for example, and people refer to him as TJ. Saying the full name would just be really long, and only using the first name would probably lead to confusion within the household, since there's usually also a Tyler Sr. around then. So that seems logical to me, but the whole
Nah, she not lying. Like, we do this a lot. We do this a lot. Mine, although it's like not just my first initial, but a lot of like my friends call me D Neal. Obviously my name's Darian, last name Neal, but hey D Neal. I call my brother K Neal. Like, I don't know. I got a friend named Jonathan. I call him J Dog. Matthew MC. Like, we just be making up nicknames. I don't know why we do it. I don't know why we just. I don't know. But everybody around me, I don't call by the first letter of their name, like, but they all have a nickname. Like everybody I know has a nickname. If I haven't made it up, it's something that I've heard them called, and it just caught on, and I'll call them that too. But She's right about that. We do this a lot.
There's usually also a Tyler Sr. around then. So that seems logical to me, but the whole first name initial or Mr. P thing just seems like such a random difference. By the way, this whole thing of naming your first son after the father and then adding a junior or senior suffix isn't common in Germany either, but that's a whole nother topic. The next point on my list is something that I wasn't aware of for the longest time, which might have actually cost me some pretty embarrassing situations. And it's that here in the US, many people consider it rude or inappropriate to blow your nose in public. Now, I'm saying many people because I've heard from a lot of Americans that their parents and teachers taught them to leave the room, go to the bathroom, or at least step aside from the group when they have to blow their nose and not to do it in front of others. But some Americans have also told me that they don't consider it impolite at all. But even if only part of the American society considers it inappropriate, to me as a German, it didn't even occur that that could be a thing, because in Germany, people blow their noses in front of each other all the time, and many people aren't particularly subtle about it either. Some Germans do this really loud trumpet noise when they blow their nose. Plus, I feel like it's actually considered more impolite not to blow your nose in Germany and just sniffle around instead. I know that whenever there was a kid that was sniffling in class, my teachers would always tell them to just blow their nose already, and that it's unhealthy to sniffle, so like Nase hochziehen. Now, I did look into this a little, and it seems like Germany is kind of the outlier here. It's actually considered rude to blow your nose in public in many countries in the world, including China, Japan, Turkey, and even other European countries, such as Norway. Now, I always thought that I'm someone who's pretty good at picking up on subtle cultural and behavioral differences, but with this one, I must have been completely blind because I only found out about this a few months ago. So I lived here for 5 years without realizing this, and I don't particularly remember blowing my nose in public, but I've been sick numerous times here, especially when I first came here and wasn't used to the AC. I was pretty much sick for weeks in the middle of August, so I'm pretty sure I've done this before and had absolutely no clue that I was being impolite, and apparently didn't pick up on any weird looks from people either. One thing that I did notice when I first moved here was that, especially among younger people, it's not nearly as common to cook your own food here. Americans tend to eat—
I think, yeah, with the nose blowing, it's not that it's rude, to me personally. It's not that it's rude. It's just that I don't like hearing it. Like, I just don't want to hear it. I know it's weird because it's a human thing. Like, you have to blow your nose cleared out. But it's nasty. Like, I don't want to hear you do it. Like, it's nasty for me to hear you do it. And that may be weird for it to be nasty for somebody because it's like something that's human. But I just don't want to hear you blow your nose. I don't want the thought in my head of snot shooting out of your nose. Like, nah. And so it's not that it's impolite to me. It's just that it's more nasty to me. But I can definitely understand you don't want to walk around sniffling all day. But yeah, just go somewhere, like, blow your nose. Probably, like, can't go to the restroom, blow your nose. Know what I'm saying? If you're a student in school, or if you're an adult, but don't just be blowing it. And she talking about Trump. They blow that. They know like a trumpet. Nah, don't do all that in front of me. No bueno. But, okay, keep it rolling, my bad.
Younger people, it's not nearly as common to cook your own food here. Americans tend to eat out at restaurants a lot more or get takeout. Some of the reasons for that are that groceries here are significantly more expensive than in Germany. I actually just recently talked about that in this video, and that Americans often don't want to spend as much time on their meals as us Europeans do. But there's actually a great solution that solves all of those issues called HelloFresh. With their meal kits, you'll get an amazing—
I'm gonna skip the paid sponsorship if that's cool with you guys. Alright, we're gonna go right here. Looks like it's where it ends.
Point number 3 on my list of random differences between Germany and the US has to do with phone numbers and specifically how they're communicated. In the US, a pretty common way of telling someone your phone number is to spell it out, like they do in this episode of Scrubs.
JD, big news. Guess what my new cell phone number spells? Why'd you get a new cell phone number? Your old number's spelled Kafunanapa.
Yeah, well, this one's 916, call Turk. Yeah, so now all you gotta do is call Turk.
How am I supposed to remember that? I'm begging you, stick with Kafunanapa. But call Turk is 8 numbers.
Nobody I know has given out their phone number like this. I've never personally experienced this in my life. There is the like 1-800s, call somebody. There is those, like, you see those kind of advertisements and stuff, but nobody that I know personally has ever given their phone number out.
Gotta do is call Turk.
How am I supposed to remember that? I'm begging you, stick with Kafunanapa. But call Turk is 8 numbers.
I know, actually, it's just call Tur, but I'm hoping people will dial the K anyway.
So instead of naming every single digit, Americans sometimes give you a word. And if you look at your keypad, you'll realize that every digit is assigned to a few letters, and you're supposed to dial the numbers that go with those letters of the word. So 916 call Tur would be 916-225-5887. This is especially common in American advertisement. You'll constantly see billboards like this one, or hear phone numbers spelled out in radio or TV commercials. In general, it's extremely common in the US to mention a phone number in ads, like call 555 attorney today for more information and get your personalized quote. That's 555 attorney. Well, in Germany, everything was replaced with websites years ago, so instead of a phone number, there will usually be a URL. Overall, it's still a lot more common to do business or other everyday things over the phone in the US. People pay their bills over the phone, handle their bank account over the phone instead of doing online banking, and even fill out contracts over the phone. Those things just aren't really a thing anymore in Germany. I was reminded of
I feel like, do they do that? I don't know. Again, like, I can only speak from personal experience and the people around me. But I guess in general, people might do that, handle contracts, all that. I guess I never really had to do all the contracts and stuff. But when it comes to banking, when it comes to all that stuff, yeah, like, I always look for the online way to do things. I'm online everything because I don't really like talking to people on the phone if I can do it online. But I guess she's right. I guess in general, there probably is a lot of people who do that. I just don't know.
Fill out contracts over the phone. Those things just aren't really a thing anymore in Germany. I was reminded of that a few months ago when I went home over Christmas and wanted to buy tickets to see a movie at the biggest movie theater in Munich, and found out that they don't even have a phone number anymore that you can call to buy or reserve tickets. It's all online, which sucked in that case because their website kept giving me an error message, but that's the trend in Germany right now. But to get back to the main point, in Germany, it's not common to spell out your phone number. Maybe it's simply because we don't really need to remember phone numbers from advertisements, I don't know, but it's just not a thing in Germany. The next random difference has to do with this thing. In German, this is called a Zollstock, Zollstab, or Meterstab, and it's a staple in every tool bag and household. I mean, this is how you measure heights and distances, right? Well, turns out, not in the US. I never even realized this or thought about it until I wanted to buy one a while ago and couldn't really find it in normal stores. I mean, they did have it in hardware stores and on Amazon, but it just doesn't seem to be the default here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that we have renovations at the house right now, and I haven't seen a single contractor so far who used one of these. People here just use measuring.
I've never seen that in my life.
Haven't seen a single contractor so far who used one of these. People here just use measuring tapes, and many professionals also use these laser measuring things, but not these. I'm not even sure if Americans have a common name for these. At the hardware store, they're referred to as folding wood ruler, but I've also heard some people call them a yardstick, even though I think a yardstick is much longer than this. But anyway, my point is, they're a staple in Germany, but not common here in the US. And last but not least, let's talk about the point from the intro earlier. This is something that I've been aware of for a long time, of course, because this comes up in everyday life and pop culture all the time, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it in a video. In Germany, when you want to wish someone good luck, you press your thumbs. Daumen drücken. It's an idiom, but we also actually do it. In the US, however, people cross their fingers for good luck. So why is it that in two Western countries with a big population of the US having German ancestry, we have those two very different gestures for the same purpose? Now, I did some research and it seems like there are two possible origins for pressing your thumb. The first one goes back to Germanic tribes for whom the thumb symbolized evil spirits and demons. and
Oh, wow.
pressing the thumb was supposed to grab those spirits and take them out. So pressing your thumb would get rid of the evil. Another explanation is that it goes back to gladiator fights, where the audience would raise their fist and fold their thumb in between the other fingers when they felt bad for the fighter and asked for mercy for him. Crossing your fingers, on the other hand, seems to have Christian origins, with the two fingers symbolizing a cross to implore God for protection. Nowadays, that's mainly common in English-speaking countries and in France, while in Germany and many other countries, it's common to press your thumbs for good luck. That includes Austria, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Croatia, Slovene, Poland, Sweden, Estonia, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, South Africa, and Russia. What I've always found a little weird about this is that crossing your fingers is also generally known as a gesture to invalidate a promise. So crossing your fingers often means that you're lying, both in Germany and...
That's literal facts. I didn't think about that. Crossing is also, it's like you're promising someone, but you're lying about it, so you cross your fingers, which that's what kids do. Like, as an adult, you don't do that, obviously. But, yeah, so have fingers crossed for good luck and fingers crossed for, that's interesting, but that's true. That's true.
A promise. So crossing your fingers often means that you're lying, both in Germany and the US. I read that this basically has the same origin as crossing your fingers for good luck. You're basically asking God for forgiveness by doing this. But doesn't that get confusing sometimes to you Americans, with that gesture having two different meanings? By the way, in some countries, such as Vietnam, crossing your fingers is actually considered an obscene gesture, comparable to giving someone the finger here. So better keep that in mind. So now I want to know from you guys, do you have any explanations as to why these 5 things are different in Germany and the US? Let me know in the comments below. And if you can think of more cultural differences that seem kind of random, let me know about that too. I'm going to link the whole random differences playlist at the end of this video and in the info box. So if you want to find out about why Germans and Americans pee differently, why German ice cream isn't the same as American ice cream, and much more, check out the other videos in that playlist. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As you know, you can subscribe to my channel for free and activate the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you haven't done so already, check out my social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, where I post a bunch of additional content and day-to-day insights into my life that you don't get to see here on YouTube. And if you want to support me and my channel, you can do so on Patreon, buy me a coffee, or by clicking the super thanks button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting me, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!
I love that. Like I always say, I always love her videos. Very bright personality. This is very interesting. Yeah, there's some of these things that are complete opposites. I don't know the origins of a lot of these things. I love that she does her research and she does know the origins on these things. But it's just very interesting to see like 2 countries and the differences between them. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media and Patreon are all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it? Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal. Out.